The heavy burden of holding on. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it feels to keep holding on to something that is no longer serving you? Whether it's a broken relationship, a painful memory, a missed opportunity, or even an unrealistic expectation of yourself, holding on weighs down your heart, your mind, and even your soul. It's like carrying a bag filled with rocks everywhere you go. At first, you may not realize how heavy it is, but over time, you begin to feel the pressure. Your energy weakens, your spirit dims, and your joy slowly slips away. We hold on because we believe letting go means losing. We think it means giving up, admitting defeat, or walking away with nothing. But the truth is, holding on often hurts us more than letting go ever could. Think about it. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying the past in your mind, hoping for a different ending? How many days have you wasted worrying about what you cannot change? This clinging, this grasping, is like standing in quicksand. The more you fight to hold on, the deeper you sink. Why do we do this? Because as humans, we crave certainty. The unknown scares us. We would rather hold on to familiar pain than risk the uncertainty of freedom. A toxic relationship feels safer than loneliness. A job that drains your soul feels easier than stepping into the unknown of chasing your dream. A past mistake feels easier to cling to than forgiving yourself and starting fresh. But here's the spiritual truth. Holding on to what no longer belongs in your life blocks the blessings that are waiting for you. It's like keeping your hands tightly closed around something broken. You can't receive anything new until you release what no longer serves you. Imagine a tree in autumn. Its leaves begin to dry, turning golden brown and eventually falling away. The tree doesn't resist this process. It doesn't fight to keep the old leaves. Instead, it surrenders to the natural flow of life. And by letting go, it makes space for new growth, fresh blossoms, and renewed strength. In the same way, you must allow yourself to release what has reached its season of completion. When you finally let go, you make room for peace. You make room for love. You make room for the life that is waiting to unfold. But until then, you remain stuck in a cycle of pain, fear, and resistance. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending it didn't matter. It means accepting that some chapters of your life have served their purpose and it's time to move forward. So ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that is keeping me from my peace? Who or what do I need to release so that I can breathe again, live again, and love again? The moment you find the courage to answer that question honestly, you begin the journey of true freedom. The weight of holding on. We live in a world where people are constantly told to hold on. Hold on to dreams, hold on to people, hold on to things, hold on to beliefs, even if they no longer serve us. From childhood, many of us are conditioned to believe that letting go is a form of weakness, that if we release something we once valued, we are somehow giving up. But the truth is, holding on can often weigh us down far more than it lifts us up. The weight of clinging to something that is no longer aligned with your path can silently drain your energy, blur your vision, and keep you from stepping into the future that is waiting for you. Think about it. How many times have you carried the memory of a mistake, the burden of guilt, or the regret of something you cannot change? How many days have you spent replaying old conversations, old hurts, or old disappointments in your mind? It's as though we put these heavy bags on our shoulders and try to run a marathon of life with them strapped tightly to our backs. No wonder we feel exhausted, anxious, and stuck. Holding on to the past, whether it's pain, relationships, or failures, doesn't allow new possibilities to enter. It keeps the doors of the future closed. But why do we do it? Why do we hold on so tightly to what is hurting us? Often, it's because of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of starting over, fear that if we let go, we will have nothing left. We convince ourselves that it is safer to cling to the familiar, even if the familiar is toxic, than to release it and walk into the uncertain. But here is the truth. Letting go is not losing. It is creating space. It is making room for something better, something more aligned with who you are becoming. Imagine your hands are full, clenched tightly around stones. Those stones might represent old pain, broken relationships, or disappointments. Now someone comes along and offers why? Our diamonds. But your hands are too full to receive them. You want the diamonds, you crave the beauty and possibility they bring, but you cannot hold them unless you release the stones. This is what life is like when we hold on to what no longer serves us. We cannot receive the blessings, opportunities, or love that is meant for us because our hands are full of yesterday's pain. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you deny what happened. It means you choose peace over pain, freedom over fear, and growth over stagnation. It means you no longer allow the weight of what was to control the potential of what is to come. And once you release that weight, you will notice something powerful. The burden lifts, your steps become lighter, and the world around you begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. The weight you were never meant to carry. One of the most powerful realizations you will ever come to in your spiritual awakening is this: not everything you hold on to is meant to be carried. Some burdens, some relationships, some expectations, and even some identities were never truly yours to begin with. Yet, out of fear, loyalty, or even habit, you keep dragging them through life like heavy chains. And the truth is, this unnecessary weight is exactly what is keeping you from experiencing true peace, freedom, and alignment. Think about it. How many times have you stayed in a friendship long after it became toxic? How many times have you carried the guilt of something that wasn't even your fault? How many times have you replayed past mistakes in your mind, punishing yourself over and over as if dragging the weight of shame could somehow undo the past? We all do it. We clutch onto burdens that don't belong in our present moment, and then we wonder why we feel stuck, lost, and exhausted. Letting go means finally recognizing that some things are not your responsibility to carry anymore. You are not responsible for fixing people who don't want to change. You are not responsible for living up to unrealistic expectations placed upon you by family, society, or even your own past self. You are not responsible for holding onto anger, resentment, or disappointment, believing that these emotions will somehow protect you. The moment you release these weights, you begin to rise. Spiritually, the act of letting go is like dropping bags of stones you've been carrying on a long uphill climb. At first, you don't even realize how heavy they were. You've been so used to the struggle. But when you finally let them fall, your body feels lighter, your steps feel freer, and your vision clears. Suddenly, you can see opportunities, blessings, and directions that were hidden before, not because they weren't there, but because you were too weighed down to notice them. Ask yourself right now, what weight am I carrying that is not mine? Maybe it's the voice of an old teacher who told you you'd never succeed. Maybe it's the shadow of a failed relationship that you keep blaming yourself for. Maybe it's the burden of trying to please everyone at the expense of your own peace. Whatever it is draining you, and it is not serving your higher purpose. The universe whispers to you, you were never meant to carry this much. Trust me, release it. And when you finally do, life starts aligning in ways that feel almost miraculous. Opportunities come, relationships shift, clarity appears. It's not that everything suddenly changes outside of you. It's that the weight you dropped allowed you to finally see what was always waiting for you. Letting go of the weight you were never meant to carry is not just an act of self-care. It is an act of faith. It is saying to the universe, I trust you enough to release what's breaking me so I can receive what's meant for me. The healing power of letting go. When you hold on too tightly to something that is no longer serving you, you unknowingly trap yourself in a cycle of pain. Holding on to past mistakes, toxic people, missed opportunities, or even an old version of yourself creates emotional wounds that never fully heal. The heart longs to move forward, but the grip of fear keeps you stuck in a place where growth cannot happen. And here lies the miracle of letting go. It is not just about release, it is about healing. Letting go is like opening a tightly closed fist. When your hand is clenched, nothing new can enter. You cannot grasp new blessings, you cannot receive fresh opportunities, and you cannot embrace the love and peace waiting for you. But the moment you open that hand, the moment you release what you were holding onto with desperation, you make space for healing to flow into your life. You make space for the divine to step in and work wonders. Healing begins when you accept that some things are not meant to be carried forever. Maybe it's a relationship that ended, maybe it's the pain of betrayal, or maybe it's the burden of your own regrets. By holding onto them, you are only reliving that suffering again and again. But when you decide to release it, when you finally say, "This no longer defines me, this no longer controls me," that is when true freedom and healing enter. The act of letting go does not mean you forget what happened. It does not mean you pretend it never hurt. Instead, it means you choose not to let the past dictate your future. It means you decide to stop reopening old wounds. Imagine a cut on your skin. If you keep scratching it, it will never heal. But if you leave it alone, protect it, and let time and care do its work, it will close and become stronger. The same is true for your heart and spirit. The healing power of letting go is also spiritual. When you release your burdens, you are not empty, you are open. And in that openness, the universe, God, or whatever higher power you believe in, fills you with peace, wisdom, and strength. You begin to see that the pain had a purpose. The heartbreak taught you strength. The rejection guided you to redirection. The closed doors made you find the ones that were meant for you all along. Letting go transforms pain into wisdom. It changes scars into stories of survival. It shifts your focus from what you lost to what you gained in the process. And most importantly, it helps you remember that your worth has never been tied to what left you, but to the strength you carry within you. So, if you are holding on to something that's breaking you, remember this: healing cannot begin until you let go. And the moment you release what's weighing you down, everything begins to fall into place. The beauty of freedom and inner peace. When you finally let go, you discover a type of freedom that you may have never known before. This freedom isn't about running away from life's responsibilities or living without care. It's about releasing the unnecessary weight you've been carrying. Think about it. How often have you been chained to something that no longer serves you? Maybe it's a relationship that drains your spirit, a job that kills your creativity, or a grudge that poisons your heart. Holding on to these things creates invisible chains that keep you from experiencing true joy. Letting go breaks those chains and opens the door to peace. There is a profound beauty in realizing that you don't have to control everything. Life has its natural rhythm, its flow, and its timing. When you let go of your desperate attempts to force outcomes, you align yourself with that flow. Imagine standing in a river, fighting against the current. You feel exhausted, frustrated, and stuck. But when you release resistance, when you let go, the current carries you forward effortlessly. That is the beauty of freedom. It doesn't come from controlling life, it comes from trusting it. Freedom through letting go also brings clarity. When your hands are no longer clinging to the past, they become open to receive the blessings of the present. You see things you couldn't see before. You notice opportunities that were hidden behind your fears. You attract people who resonate with your growth because your energy is no longer clouded by negativity. In this state, inner peace is not something you chase. It naturally blossoms within you. You begin to breathe deeper, sleep better, and smile more authentically because you are no longer carrying battles that aren't yours to fight. Letting go also teaches you one of life's most valuable lessons. You are not defined by what you lose, but by what you choose. See, to embrace. Sometimes we cling to things because we're afraid of emptiness, afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of not knowing what comes next. But what feels like emptiness is actually spaciousness. It is room for something better. It is an invitation for healing, for new beginnings, and for alignment with your highest purpose. When you let go, you also release yourself from the prison of other people's expectations. You stop living for validation and start living in truth. You realize that your worth was never tied to what others thought of you, to the mistakes you made, or to the people who walked away. Your worth is eternal, unshaken, and unbreakable. And in this awareness, peace becomes your natural state. You no longer chase happiness. It finds you because you've created the space for it. This is the beauty of freedom and inner peace. It doesn't come from clinging, it comes from surrender. It doesn't come from control, it comes from trust. And once you experience it, you'll wonder why you ever held on so tightly in the first place. Living in the flow of life. When you finally let go, life begins to flow with an effortless ease that you may have never experienced before. It feels as though the universe itself is carrying you, guiding you, and aligning the right opportunities, people, and experiences into your path. This is the beauty of surrender, not giving up, but giving in to the greater rhythm of existence. When you release control, you discover that life has a natural intelligence far greater than your limited understanding. Think about water. Water never resists its path. It flows around obstacles, it adapts to the environment, and yet it always finds its way forward. This is the energy of living in flow. When you let go of rigid expectations, when you stop demanding that life must unfold in a specific way, you allow yourself to move like water, adaptable, resilient, and unshakable. You stop fighting what is, and instead, you trust that every twist and turn of the river is taking you exactly where you need to be. Living in the flow doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It means that when challenges appear, you no longer resist them. You embrace them as part of the path. You no longer see pain as punishment, but as preparation. You no longer see rejection as a closed door, but as redirection. And in this shift of perception, everything changes. You begin to realize that life is not happening to you, but for you. When you let go, your energy changes. Fear loosens its grip, doubt fades away, and a deep sense of peace rises within you. This peace becomes your power. It attracts better relationships, healthier environments, and new possibilities because the universe always matches your energy. Holding on to fear, anger, or past wounds blocks your blessings, but letting go releases space for abundance to flow. To live in the flow of life, you must cultivate trust. Trust in God. Trust in the universe. Trust in your own soul. Trust doesn't mean you know every step ahead. It means you know you're guided no matter what. It means you're okay with uncertainty because you understand that uncertainty is the birthplace of miracles. When you stop clinging to your limited plan, you give the divine room to create a bigger, better plan for you. Living in flow is freedom. It's the freedom to be yourself without apology, to follow your purpose without fear, and to love without conditions. It's the freedom to wake up each day with gratitude, knowing that no matter what happens, you are exactly where you're meant to be. So breathe deeply, relax your grip, release the past, let go of the fear, and open your heart to the unknown. Because when you live in the flow of life, you don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just exist, you awaken. And in that awakening, you discover the profound truth. When you finally let go, everything truly does fall into place. Life has a way of teaching us that the tighter we hold on to things, the heavier our spirit becomes. We cling to people, to expectations, to timelines, and to outcomes because we think control equals security. But in truth, control often creates resistance, and resistance creates suffering. The lesson of life, the wisdom of the soul, is this. When you finally let go, everything begins to align in ways you never imagined. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you quit or that you give up on yourself. Instead, it means you stop fighting against what is already beyond your control. It means you trust the flow of life more than the fear in your heart. It means you allow God, the universe, or the higher power you believe in to take the wheel, because you realize that your soul's path is far greater than the plan you were clinging to. Think about the moments in your life when you tried to force something, a relationship that wasn't meant for you, a dream that drained you, or an outcome that kept slipping through your fingers. How did it make you feel? Exhausted, empty, defeated? But when you finally released it, when you said, "I trust that what is for me will not pass me by," something shifted inside you. Suddenly, space was created in your life for new blessings to arrive. And they always did. Maybe not in the form you expected, but always in the form you needed. This is the power of surrender, the power of letting go. It clears your hands of what doesn't serve you so that you can finally receive what does. Life cannot fill a cup that is already overflowing with fear, with doubt, with attachments, and with control. But when you let go, when you pour out what was weighing you down, you create room for miracles to unfold. Remember, letting go is not weakness, it's courage. It takes strength to release the past, to stop clinging to old pain, and to walk forward into the unknown. But it's in the unknown where new opportunities, new love, new peace, and new purpose live. When you let go of what isn't working, you are silently telling the universe, "I am ready for what is meant for me." And the universe responds every time. So today, I invite you to release what has been holding you hostage. Release the anger, release the regrets, release the toxic attachments, release the need to control outcomes. Breathe deeply and trust that you are being guided step by step to where you are meant to be. And as you do this, watch how the pieces of your life begin to fall into place, not by accident, but by divine design. Because when you finally let go, you don't lose. You gain. You gain freedom. You gain peace. You gain clarity. And most importantly, you gain alignment with the life you were always meant to live.